You know, in our time, it was very hard to say that you're a professional actor. It was the part-time thing. It was something that you did out of passion because there were no jobs. You could earn a living as an actor. So you'd only part-time and go on for rehearsals and in the evening. But if you wanted to have a living, you had to do something else. Much as I studied drama and film, but it is not the books that have led me to where I am. That knowledge is useless if you do not apply it. So because I studied with so many people who are no longer in the art world, they're doing business, they're doing different things. It's because for them, they didn't have the same passion I had. They had something different they wanted. So I'm trying to encourage you that whatever choices you make, you can actually earn a living in this industry. So basically, here's the thing, and the challenges that people get when they're acting. You need to be aware and separate yourself. That's why I was saying that it's not pretending. You need to separate yourself from the character that you're portraying. Why? Because you are not the character. You might be Chimera, there are certain things about you that you like, and that's who you are. But when you're going to embody another character, you take on their personality, you take on actually what you do is that you lend your body, your voice, and your intellect to this character. And for that period of time, those are the basic raw materials of an actor. Your body, your voice, and your intellect. Because those are the tools you have, your raw materials that you use to create that character. You get? So it's important for you to know that whatever is embodied in the character is not actually you, but the character. How do you get to understand your character? It is very, very important to read the script and understand who this character is. Because even the lines that are crafted for the character are specific. There is a reason why they say those lines. All of us speak differently. And characters, even in plays, speak differently. Because that depends on the what? On their social background, their intellect. So if, for instance, a character was educated in America, and now he's here in Uganda, and that's the character, not you. I'm talking about the character. You realize that this character probably has an accent, an American accent. You'll have to adapt that. I'm not saying that it's the absolute that you have to, but if you want your character to be so real, you need to give those little tiny nuances and details to bring them out about your character. That's when they become believable. So the thing is, you need to go back to what we were saying, that pretend. By embodying the character, what we actually mean is that you have the parody of acting is that we're actually acting, but we should never seem to be acting. Does that make sense? Yeah, we're acting, we know, like you said, we're pretending to be somebody else, but the pretense is not there. You have to be that somebody else. You have to identify this person, know what he likes and how he speaks, and embody all his characteristics and bring them to life. Period. That is it. When you're acting for screen, you are actually acting for the screen, for the camera. So there are limitations as opposed to what? When you're on stage. When you're on stage, you have a wide stage and you can have movement, gestures, and you're free to do whatever you want. But on camera, you are restricted by the camera, what we call coverage. Coverage is what is the camera seeing. One of the things that is challenging in acting for screen is what we call continuity, which is not the same with stage. Today, stage is a live thing, and with each performance, it is different. You get different energy. Today, there's blocking and all that, fine, but my movement is not restricted. I'm free to do whatever I want as long as it is within the what? the frame. But no, not within the frame. That's on stage. But when you're acting for screen, the problem comes in with the acting choices you make. You get? Because you have to be consistent. Because we have different takes. If you touched your hand when you're saying your line, when your hand was here, you need to be sure that you're going to repeat the same. So you need to make choices that are easy for you to remember and work out. But when you're doing film, you need to be very specific because you have to repeat exactly. It might not be to the dot, but you need to reproduce the same actions that you did because they're different cameras. So if in one camera, if they're going to cut from this camera and to another angle, and you're doing something totally different, they might cut when you're either standing, maybe in this scene, you have been sitting. Just imagine, I have a scene here, and I have a close-up of her. She's talking in a close-up, and then I go to a wide, and she's seated. I go to a wide to include these three. Now, but when I go to the wide, she is standing. You get my point? It doesn't make sense. Yeah? It doesn't. So you have to make sure that all your actions are the same. So it calls for a little bit of challenge to the actor for you to always remember the things that's why they say work a lot with your emotions when you are actually acting for screen than with your gestures. You get? Because camera is very intimate. It's different from stage because stage, you can imagine, the thing that happens with stage, one of the fundamental things of stage is you need to project. Because there are people who are seated just far up in the theater, they need to hear you. And okay, nowadays things have changed. People are being mic'd and all that, but initially there were no mics. So you had to project so that even the people at the back of the theater can hear you. But even the acoustics of the theater are made in such a way that the sound travels and you can be audible enough. So, and two, because stage the people are seated far, you're far from what? From your audience, your gestures have to be amplified. You get? That's why we do a little bit, to answer your question, you're saying about how do you know you're exaggerating? So when you're on stage, it is okay because there are certain actions that we make on stage to amplify. Like for example, if you are crying, chances are you're going to raise your arms and do that and weep and all that stuff on stage. But on camera, you don't. Because it is so intimate. The camera will come close to you and capture even a whisper. But on stage, it can't. If I'm going to whisper you when I'm on stage, chances are you're the only one who's going to hear that dialogue, not the audience. But for camera, there's a mic. You're being mic'd, so you don't have to. Actually, for me, the highest degree of acting in its entirety, and that's why you find that actors are really judged. I'm not saying that people who act on stage are not that good. They are good. But you see now it has set a standard that we even see in Hollywood. The guys who win awards are what? People in film. How many people have you had in theater winning awards? Because it has become like a standard for you. Because filming is more realistic acting. Because here you don't have to exaggerate, basically. You need to be yourself and be that character. And they don't have to have a lot of gestures. Just concentrate on what you are doing, and that is it. And the camera will pick you. Stage actors normally have undergo certain kind of training, and it is a little bit rigorous, like a rehearsal. They have that discipline, stage actors, because they have strict rules that they have to follow. So you have the discipline of an actor. You know exactly when you are needed. So basically, when they say that the best actors come from stage, that is true, because once they have known the difference, they can apply their knowledge of stage and transfer it to what? To film easily. Than a person who has not been on stage. The industry kind of has a way of giving you fame. Why? Because it reaches out to a large audience. Film reaches out to a large audience, and that makes you one of the things. I'll tell you why people like the Ebonies used to put on productions every weekend and get an audience. The reason was today, if you put them in production, within a month or two, the audience will dwindle. People will have seen the show, and then few people come, depending on how you're advertising it. But the advantage these guys had at that time was that they had what was called That's Life motto on TV. So people who saw those characters on screen would come to see them live on stage. So that curiosity brought them what? Fame. So most people who come to the film have a yearning for that popularity and fame. That is it. Remember that acting is a very collaborative art. Huh? You don't act in isolation. You have a team. You have an actor. You have a what? The other characters are there involved. And it's a give and take. Because it's what you give me, the energy you give me as an actor is how I'm going to reciprocate. If you don't give me that energy, you are either going to impinge on my what? My acting. I used to do a role with the inspector in the Ebonies. And there was a character called Koporo Kute, who was my Koporo. People used to think that I was hilarious and used to laugh at whatever I used to do. But it wasn't me who was hilarious. It was the way this guy used to react to the stupid things I used to do that made me look funny. So without him, I wouldn't have been funny. Do you get my point? So if he had refused to do what he was, I would never be funny. Because he was the one who would react to whatever stupid things I do or mistakes, and he makes them look funny. So basically he was the funny guy, not me. But I came off as the funny guy. But this is, what I'm trying to tell you is that if you don't work as a team and somebody doesn't give you the correct energy, it is going to affect your performance. And also, you need to be, it happens a lot, especially on stage, but even in film, whereby I know all actors basically are selfish. That is true. Because everybody, once they're on that stage or once they're in a role, they want to shine. That's a given. Even myself, if I'm given a role, I want to do actually, we had a saying when I was still at campus, that if you are given a small role in a play, do it to perfection so that you'll be noticed. So that by the time you leave, you'll have an impact. When we're doing a play in the Ebonies, there was a moment I used to leave stage and go off. And then I leave a character there who had very important dialogue to speak. But this was selfish. It's not something good. But I told this chick that I can upstage you even when I'm not on stage. And how did I do that? Because I was leaving the stage and I balanced the glass at the edge of the table and left. What did that do? Everybody's attention was on the glass, not on what the lady was talking. So it's a bad thing. That's why I'm saying that the actors do it, especially when the main character is ahead of them and you are doing things in the background that do not enhance this person, but they call for attention. You start making funny gestures behind there so that the audience pays attention to you and not to the main character. So you need to understand that at this moment and in this moment, this is not my moment. For any sensible actor, you need to know that this is not my moment. This moment at this time, the director is, the energy is directed to this one person. So give them attention and focus on them. But if you start doing something different, then you are taking away from this person and you might ruin the play. Because people now are not going to, probably has some important lines to deliver which are crucial in the play, and you are starting to do your own things behind there, and it's disruptive. But because you want to do what? To make an impact. As an actor, you also need to know that the moments that come in and see how best you can deliver. When I was still teaching Namasagale, I had a production at the National Theatre, and whenever we would have scene changes, there would be a guy who would walk with a placard, and he walks with it and goes off 3 years later, something like that. And that's all he used to do. And unfortunately for him, you are not supposed to be seen because you hold it and cover yourself. They just read the words and you move to the stage and to the other side. But this particular boy, he stole the show. Because the way he used to move when he was taking that placard, there is a way he used to move and everybody would laugh at that because he made it funny and it became part of the show. But you see, the good thing with that, for him, he was doing it, but he wasn't disrupting anybody because there was nobody on the what? The attention was on the what? The placard. That's why we want the attention. So he's not basically disrupting anybody, but because he opted to walk in a very comic way, he was bouncing. And whenever that guy used to come, people would clap for him. And some of them didn't even know who he was because he would never show his face. So, what am I saying? That much as you might want to be seen, it is always important to know at your limits, basically. You need to know your limits and know like, okay, this moment is not mine. This is for this guy. Let me give him the moment. And the only way, as an actor, you can help with your fellow actors, I saw something here, something that they wrote here, silence. There's that element of silence, but for me, what matters most is attention. Attention is what is crucial when you are acting. Such that if you don't know what to do, listen and react, period. Give attention to whoever who is speaking. Even if you're in the background, just listen to them and wait for your part. Directing for film is a little bit deliberate and different from stage because you are telling the story through shots. Do you get my point? You are telling the story through shots. So the choices of shots you make becomes very, very paramount and crucial to how the film is going to look like. For instance, we have a wide shot. Why do we normally have a wide shot? It is to establish, basically. Actually, sometimes it's called an establishment shot. Yeah, but that's what it does, to establish. Now, if I was to come in here and want to film this session, I'll put a camera here and have a wide angle of all you guys here. And then have that shot as my master shot. If that is my master shot, you'll have to do whatever you're doing until we get to the end. On set, there is a lot you can learn. I'll tell you that personally, I did not start my film journey because at the time I studied drama at Makerere, there was no film. It was just purely stage drama, and that is it. But when I started working with the Ebonies in VCL, we started That's Life from Watu and started filming. But here's the thing, because of the opportunity that you have there, you don't waste it. So you read, because I used to read a little bit about editing, doing what, and start reading. And the good thing is that when you're in such a setting, there is room for you to learn. So much as I was a writer, but I learned editing and camera work because I had an opportunity to be on set. So the DOP, when they would teach you how to use the camera, teach you how to actually edit a film. That's how I learned. The screenplay is different from a what? There's a huge difference, but people don't really take note of that. And they end up writing stage plays for screen. They do that a lot. But because when you're writing for screen, whatever you're doing is visual. We don't want, like for example, if you're writing a play for stage, because of the gestures and all that, you have a lot of dialogue. Because that's my first experience in that lab, because I submitted in a script of 30 pages. And the mentor cut it to 10. It was painful. Yeah, but you see, the thing is that most of the stuff that was there was irrelevant. I didn't need it because I just needed to show it, not to talk about it. That's what we do in film. We use actions to tell our story, mostly, as opposed to stage. Stage, it is mostly dialogue, and action is there, no problem. But when it comes to film, you have to be so subtle in a way that whatever you want to bring out is more about emotions and what we are seeing. And eventually, of course, the dialogue is there. And we have, you see, the advantage with film is that we have even music to enhance mood. If there is a scene which has horror in it, the mere sound of it, you'll hear the sounds. And you know, like, wow, there is impending doom or danger here. The first thing you do as a director is to have a vision. What am I doing? How do I want this film to look like? Because it's your role. So if you don't have that vision, then you're going to be in problems. And I've seen this happen, by the way. I've been on sets whereby you find a director has come and he's not even very sure of what he wants to shoot. He goes aside, he reads the script, he's gambling. Meanwhile, the actors are there waiting for his guidance. And they're rehearsing. And they're making their own choices. You get? But because he hasn't internalized it, when he goes to the actors to work with them, and he's trying to direct them to do something, and the actors go like, but you see, in this line, I'm saying this. So basically, this is what should be happening. You have lost the power. But the actors know more than you do. And they're going to do whatever they want. Actors can hijack your production. And they end up doing whatever they want. And they take over your power. It happens a lot on sets. People go there because they are lazy to do their homework. You don't know exactly what your vision is. So, as a director, you need to know, you need to have a vision, but also, like he said, somebody else, that you need to understand what do you want to achieve in this scene. What is this scene about? What do we want to achieve? What sort of emotion do we want? If it's a sad scene, what do I want to do at the end of the scene? How do I want my audience to feel? Do I want them to feel scared of what is coming? Or do I want them to cry? Because that's an emotion. I want to create something that is really sad, and by the end I finish that scene, everybody's in tears. And that is my goal. That this is a very emotional scene, and at the end of it, I want everybody who's watching the thing to feel the pain and cry with my actors. So you can only do that before you, now that is when now you can go to what? To your shorts. Because it's the shorts which are going to determine the emotions. You get my point? Now if you already understood what the scene is all about, and now you go to the point of how best do I use the shorts to capture this? Okay, one thing you need to understand that everybody on set, almost everybody is a creative person. So you do not underestimate their input. Because everybody there is a creative person, even the actor. You might be the director, but the actor has a way he feels about the role he's doing. Listen to them and see if their choices match with yours. We are the only people who have a license to do whatever we want to do without being arrested. We can kill, we can hurt, we can do anything we want without being convicted. Yeah, because personally, I've never killed anyone, but I've killed people in screen. Yeah, you kill and you're happy about it because it's an experience that you are given this opportunity to shoot a guy and kill him. It's a whole totally different experience. So, yeah, you have that license to do whatever you want. So, for me as an actor, I would really love to have a role that is challenging for me. When you are acting, for me, you need to remain professional and do what you have to do for the show to happen. And the professionalism comes from out of respecting each other, but also understanding that we have our own personal limitations. Because much as we are giving our body, voice, and intellect to the other character, we can't separate from ourselves totally. It is still us. Once you've written a script and you feel it's strong, and you're directing it as well, yeah, that is your vision. It might be good. I have no issue with that. But at times, I've discovered that if you give somebody else an opportunity to direct your script, they come up with something that you did not even envision, which is even more beautiful. So that you are not limited by your own imaginations, because you are the one who wrote it. You have that. I'm not saying that it's bad for you to have that, but when you look at things from a different point of view, they can become better. That is why, for me, I always like sharing, which is not common in this field. Because here's the thing. Most people think that if I share my idea with you, you're going to steal my idea. But when the idea is yours, it is hard. It is hard to steal. You may take it, but you will not do it the same way because it's mine. Yeah, but if you share it and I give you pointers, you may find that your idea has improved. And that's what I normally do. Me personally, when I have ideas, I go to people with my mindset, like Robert Serumaga, tell me this is what I have for me. What do you think about it? And we'll give you, what if you did ABCD? It's not like we are so bad that if you told me your idea, I'm going to take it away from you. People who do that are really nasty. But not everybody's like that. But that's because there are people who do that. It doesn't mean we have to keep on holding to what? To our ideas, because other people are going to steal them. Others may not develop them. Research is important for everyone. Whether you're an actor, a writer. I'll tell you that I have a wide knowledge of family planning, not because I studied family planning, but I wrote a series for family planning. And in order for me to write that series, I had to learn what family planning was all about. You get? So you end up knowing what it takes, the different kind of family planning. I would never have known them if I was never a writer, because I had no interest in knowing that. But because I was commissioned to write something about it, I was forced. I've written about HIV. I know a lot about it. That's not because that I've been involved in it, but because I was writing about it, I need to know its details and how it affects and the different things. When I was doing that role of the police detective, I used to spend most of the time at the CPS with some police guys. Actually, they became my friends because I would ask questions. How do you arrest? How do you do ABCD? So that you can give what? A credible performance. So I was taught how to arrest, how to read people's rights, read them their right, and all that. Time is crucial when it comes to film. If we have a scene, the three of us, that we're supposed to shoot at 10 in the morning, and these guys come, and I am not there. These guys will have, they'll give them breakfast, isn't it? They will give them transport to come. I didn't come. You're going to shoot it again the next day because I didn't come that day. But you're going to give them transport again to bring them back. And they're going to eat food again. That's a cost that was never anticipated. So the costs go high. So you being late and not being there on time, you are costing us a huge expense. You may not understand it, but if, for instance, you are hiring a camera on a daily, and the camera is there, and you don't use it, you get, because some actors did not turn up, so we couldn't shoot the scenes, we postponed them, the camera is going to be paid. And once you want it to be brought back, it will be brought back at a higher cost. So that's what I'm saying, unless the actors are dumb, if you explain that to them, that your coming late has a huge implication on our budget. This is not about me and you anymore. This is about the money. We don't have the money, and you are the one. So if you don't want this role, tell us, so that we don't have to incur these costs. Because otherwise, if we incur these costs, we are going to deduct it from you. And branding is about who you are and what you stand for. And when it comes to, you set the rules for yourself. And once you do that, then there's what they call credibility and being dedicated to what you do. For me, one of the brands I have, and that's why I get some opportunities to work, it's because I made it a point that whatever commitment you give me, even if you fail to pay me, I'll complete the task. I do that. There are times when I was feeling like Sanyu, I was getting too tired of it because it was taxing me a bit. But I said, I made a commitment. I'm going to write this thing till the end. And I'm not going to tell the director that I'm giving up now. Nope. And there are certain things that you need to be up to. And this is about branding yourself, actually, even your life, basically. How do you lead your life? Because the way you do that actually tells a lot about who you are. There are simple things like keeping time. That's one of the things I have. I keep time all the time. Even when I'm going to the theater, when we're having a rehearsal at 3, I'm there by 2. I give ample time so that if in case of any mishap, I am there. Guys ask me, why do you come that early? I go like, yeah, because that's the mere fact that you guys don't want to keep time. If I also don't stop keeping time because you don't keep time, I will end up not keeping other people's time. And it's going to affect me. And people are going to like, that one. And I've seen so many people in the industry who don't commit to their word. And people feel like, okay, if I'm going to employ that guy, that guy is good, but also, you get. That's what happens because you are unreliable. You are good, fine, but are you reliable? Can people count on you to deliver when they want you to deliver? But if you're this kind of guy who comes and commits today and then you're like, did it one? You go. You're lost. Because once you commit yourself onto something, you have to. Right now, I have a challenge of something that I need to do, but I am still debating whether to take it on or not. You get? That's simply because that once I make a decision to do it, I will do it till the end. But am I sure that I want to do it? Okay, there's someone who wants me to direct a series for them. But the question would be, am I going to, once I take it and the kind of money you're giving me, am I going to last those 3 months? I leave all my other things, you get? Because that means I have to cut off all the other things and concentrate on this, you get? So, am I willing to put out this side thing that I'm doing and concentrate on your thing for the next 3 months? It's a decision I have to make. That's why I tell you, wait until I make that decision. Because the moment I make that decision, believe me, this other stuff will go. I can't commit myself to this and say like, I had to do ABCD, I had to attend a rehearsal here. No. Once I take on something, that is it. You have to do it. So for me, that is how you brand yourself.